Jumanji, a game for those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind. You roll the dice to move your token, doubles gets another turn, the first player to reach the end wins. Adventurers beware, do not begin unless you intend to finish. The exciting consequences of the game will vanish only when a player has reached Jumanji and called out its name. I've been a Jumanji fan ever since I watched the first movie as a kid. I love the idea of a world inside of a wooden board game. I used to watch the movie all the time after the first time. At primary school I used to try and replicate Jumanji out of paper. It never looked close to accurate. It always looked like shit. The spaces for each token to be on was always the wrong shape and position, and I could never get any of the details correct. While growing up, it didn't come to mind as often as it used to. But when the second movie was announced, my childhood spirit of Jumanji sparked to life once again, and I became hooked with it once again. I even saw some really talented people replicate the board game and sell them for huge prices. Some of them were even round to like 5,000 quid, and I couldn't afford it. I had always wondered what it would feel like to play the game, the real game. Boy, I wish I could never grow curious. Why, do you ask? Because now the game haunts me. It was during the summer of 2017, a few months before Jumanji 2 was released. I was going to take a walking trip in a woodsy area that was near I used to live. Because my family had some business to attend to and I couldn't be bothered to stay home, I had to get out more often anyway, so I decided to be dropped off at the woods and be picked up within 4 hours. After my parents left, I decided to take paths and routes that I had never took before. Since I had the chance, I may as well use the opportunity. After what seemed like 2 hours of walking, I got pretty bored, so I decided to walk through the trees, to make it seem more, well, adventurous, if you call it that. You see, I like walking through forests. It gives me a pretty good feeling. I don't know why, it just does. After 30 minutes of walking through the forest, I stopped in my tracks and focused. I felt like I heard something, or was hearing something. It sounded like pounding. No, not pounding, drumming. Yeah, it sounded like drums. Really quiet drums. It seemed to be coming from my right. I took a short glimpse to my right, but I couldn't see anything, at least not at first. I started to have a strange feeling of curiosity and worry. I was curious to know where the drums were coming from, but I was also worried that I might end up in a situation I didn't want to get myself into. I did turn around to go in the opposite direction, but then the drums got louder and faster. Sounding more clear, I couldn't help but think that the drums were reminding me of something. I felt like my brain was trying to tell me something, and curiosity got the better of me, and I investigated. I went in the direction to where I could hear the drums, but I couldn't see anything yet. As I wandered through the trees, searching for the source of the sound, I thought I could see something. Something rectangular, wooden, laying next to a tree. And as I got closer, with the drums sounding more clear and louder, it hit me. Jumanji. Jumanji was what I was hearing. I was hearing the drums of Jumanji. My mind got grabbed by realization, and I rushed over to the thing, and as I got even closer, the drums stopped. And I could see that my suspicion was true. It was Jumanji, laying in front of my very feet. My mind was racing out of excitement and shock. Excited the fact that I had found Jumanji, and shocked that it could be real. This could be the real Jumanji, and that the stories of Jumanji, dating back from the stories of the mysterious characters of Caleb and Benjamin, to the stories of Alan, Sarah, Judy and Peter, to even Spencer, Fridge, Bethany, Martha and Alex. Could those stories be actually true? I wondered to myself. I only managed just to open the game very slightly for only 2 seconds before my phone went off. I took a look at my phone and it showed that my 3.5 hour timer had reached 0. So I only had half an hour to get back to the car park. So I took the game and rushed back in the direction I came from. I only got back with a few minutes to spare. My parents arrived shortly and I got in the car. After like 5 minutes of sitting in the car, staring at the game, I mentioned to my parents that I found Jumanji. They were confused to what I was talking about, and I explained to them about how I found it. They didn't really pay much attention. Plus, they gave the typical, "Nice, that's great." Obviously they didn't really listen. We got home and I instantly went upstairs to my room to take a closer look at this game. I took a quick look at the front of the game. Seeing the name Jumanji it just gave me a funny feeling, but I still couldn't help but feel negative as well. I felt like I shouldn't do anything with this game, but again, curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the game. It looked exactly how it looked in the movies. There was no tokens placed on the board though, but I knew if this was the real thing, I was only to get the tokens out only to look at them. I would not place them on the board. I would not let them get pulled onto the game. I opened the little compartment that contained the dice and tokens, and they looked pretty neat. I got out the elephant since Alan was my favourite character from the first movie. But not even 10 seconds after holding the token, I felt like the token was being pulled. Not by someone else, but I felt like some sort of force pulling the token closer to the board. I instantly knew that the game was trying to enter me in the game, but I wouldn't let it. I tried to pull it back into the compartment with the others, but the token slipped out of my fingers and it got magnetized to its place. "Shit!" is what I said when I tried to pull it off. It wouldn't move. The game thought I joined. I don't know why, but I then decided to roll the dice, just to see what would happen. If this was the real game, that token would move and a riddle would appear. The dice landed on 7, but the token didn't move, and there was no riddle. I sat there for a few moments with mixed feelings, relief and discontentment. I honestly don't know why I was anticipating the token. I don't know why I was expecting or wanting something to happen. But I was mostly relieved nonetheless. I was relieved that the game didn't start. I was feeling kind of hungry, so I got up to go downstairs. But after when I turned around, I heard something move, very quietly. I slowly turned around, and my heart sank like a stone, to see that the token had moved. It moved 7 squares across the board. My heart started to beat fast, and I crouched down to the floor, and saw that a riddle appeared. It said, "They howl at night. They hide in the dark. Their vicious bite is worse than their bark." I got the chills when I read that. That can't be good, I whispered to myself as I tried to figure out what the game was trying to warn me about. But my thoughts were short-lived when I heard the sound of howling. A chill ran up my spine as I now knew what the riddle was talking about. Wolves. The game was warning me about wolves. I thought to myself as I approached the window. My suspicions were shortly confirmed, as I saw, in the middle of the road, clear in sight, even in the darkness of night, I could see that there was a pack of 5 wolves, all staring directly at me with their glowing eyes. I shut my blinds and rushed downstairs to warn my parents. As I rushed through the living room, everyone was worried to what I was doing as I locked every door and window to be sure that they wouldn't find a way to enter the house. My dad demanded to know what was going on, and I explained everything. I explained about the game, and I explained about the wolves. They didn't believe me. But after when I showed them the game, and I took them up to my window to show them where the wolves' nest was, they only managed to catch a short glimpse of them. So, as long as they saw the wolves, they believed me a little. So we called the police, and I explained the whole situation to them. When the cops arrived, I showed them the game, and I explained about the wolves, since I knew they were still out there. I know they were still out to get me. But the police even looked at each other as if I was insane. But they did advise me to move, if I didn't feel safe. Mind you, this only happened 3 months ago. And that's why I moved. I was scared. I had to get away. And fast. I don't think the wolves knew I moved, or knew where I was now, or even if they even followed me. But I still have the game. It's under my bed, waiting for my next turn. And sometimes, quite often, I could still hear the drums of Jumanji. I'm writing this so you guys know what to do if you guys hear the drums of Jumanji, or if you ever find the game. Don't fall for it. Don't. It'll be the worst, if not the last mistake you'll ever make in your life. I made the mistake on playing the game, and now it wants me to continue. This game is driving me insane, because everywhere I go, I hear the damn drums of Jumanji. I can't get it out of my head. I just want to warn you because I don't want you guys making the same mistake as I made. I don't want anyone else playing this game. I don't want anyone else to find it. I'm gonna take my next turn, because I just want to end this mindfuck. And besides, if I finish the game, it'll all go away. And I better do it quick, before someone gets hurt. I mean, how hard can it be? I've seen the movies. So, it shouldn't be as bad as I think. At least, I hope it's not. Guys, if I don't send an update on this warning, it means I'm dead. Or I'm taking too long. Or maybe I finished the game and no one else is receiving the update. I'm gonna take my next turn. I've rolled the dice and it's landed on 4. The tokens moved again, and a riddle's now appearing. It says, "They like to laugh, but they are not your friends. If you take them lightly, it'll be your end." I wonder what that means. Maybe I should keep playing the game. Should I?